Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. If you have any questions, please write me at walkwithtak@gmail.com. I will be happy to answer whatever question that you might have. This will allow me to give you more thorough answers. So write me anytime you want, and I will answer you promptly. My fast cooking system has 4 attributes, that is flavor chasing, advanced prepping, stir frying, and template-based cooking. Among the 4 attributes, flavor chasing is probably the most important because as the saying goes, you love flavor first before you love food. Probably the most famous Chinese wine is called Mo Tai, which is also known as Baijiu. It is a spirit, and this has very high alcohol content, up to about 60%. This Mo Tai became very famous when Richard Nixon visited China. He and Mao Zedong toast each other at a banquet using this particular wine. However, there's another wine that is probably even more famous. This wine is known as Shaoxing wine. This wine has an amber color. It is more like wine rather than a spirit in the case of Mo Tai. Now, this wine bears the name of the town where it came from. The town is, of course, now is a big city known as Shaoxing, and this town is close to Shanghai. It's in the Zhejiang province. It is only about 200 kilometers from Shanghai. When I spent a year teaching in Shanghai, I used to visit this town, and I remember it is a beautiful town, and it is part of what is known as a water town system in this part of China. Inside the town, many of the places are connected by canals, and it creates a very picturesque atmosphere. Of course, today the town is very modern, as like many other cities in China, with a high-rise and skyscrapers, both for hotels as well as for business. I remember when I visited Shaoxing, I came across a brand of Shaoxing wine known as 女儿红. 女儿 means daughter, 红 means red. The story about this is from a legend, is that when a family welcomed a new baby girl, they would bury a jug of Shaoxing wine in their backyard, and they would not unearth it and open it until the daughter was married away. And hong means red color, which means wedding color. And today in Shaoxing, there are many different brands of Shaoxing wine, and most of them are produced for mass consumptions, as in this case, there are many different types of Shaoxing wines in many different brands. However, Shaoxing wine actually become more famous to be used as a cooking wine, and it is used all over China, and now it's used in many different parts of the world. It includes in many different types of cuisines. And Shaoxing wine gives a unique characteristic flavor profile for the food that one cooks. It's almost like soy sauce. It gives a particular flavor that associates with Chinese cooking. And Shaoxing wine is an important representation of this type of flavor. Shaoxing wine is brewed from rice, but it also contains wheat, and it contains some other type of ingredients. So the end result is that it gives this amber color. However, there are many different kinds of wines in China and many different types that use in home cooking. Here are some examples. These are several different types of wine. They are all brewed from the various types of rice. In the one case, the rice is come from like a jasmine rice, have a fragrance to it. Another case, the rice actually are brewed from a glutinous rice, both glutinous white rice as well as black glutinous rice. So you'll probably ask the question, what is the difference between the wine that used for drinking versus the wine used for cooking? Well, the major difference is that the wine used for drinking, after you open it, it tends to go bad on you because when it contact with air, it will become oxidized. Whereas the wine for cooking, you can keep it for a long time in room temperature and exposed to air without worrying it going bad on you. The other major differences, of course, is that the wine for drinking tastes much better than the wine that used for cooking, although it is not always the case, but that is the general rule. Another difference is that the wine used for cooking is the type of wine known as fortified wine. Now, there are many examples of fortified wine as shown in here, such as sherry is a good example as a wine that are used for drinking, in this case, that are fortified. A port is another example. But the wine that used for cooking is also fortified. Fortification means that the additional ingredients are added to this wine, particularly add liquor to the wine, and consequently it increases the alcohol content of a fortified wine. But also some other addition of other chemicals cause it to become more stable and less likely to be oxidized. Normally, rice wine actually contains only rice, and so it has a clear color, whereas Xiaoxing wine has this amber color because the other ingredients are being added to the wine, particularly the addition of wheat as well as other chemicals that give Xiaoxing wine that special flavor and make it particularly suitable for cooking. For many years, I really do not know how to use cooking wine in the best possible way. Quite often, I feel that the cooking wine is not making any difference to the food that I cook. And then I talked to a friend of mine, and he is a chef, and he told me that there are two ways for you to use cooking wine. And it all has to do with when you add the cooking wine to your dish during the cooking process. The first way to use cooking wine is that to add the wine early in the cooking process. And in this case, you want the flavor of the wine to blend into the flavor of the dish. And so in many ways, you probably will not actually taste the flavor of the wine because most of the alcohol will be cooked off. But however, it will make the wine taste add to the complex flavor of the dish. And the second way is to add the wine way at the end. Now here I cook a dish with noodles, which is a lo mein type of dish. And I particularly like to use wine in this particular dish. So what I do is that I will put my wine in a squeeze bottle, which I recommend strongly for you to do, because then you can add precise amount of wine that you want. And through flavor chasing, what you will do is that you will add different amounts of the wine during the cooking process. And now the dish is done, I actually turn off the heat. The third thing I did in flavoring this dish is that I add about 1.5 tablespoon of oyster sauce, and this is followed by about 1 tablespoon of hoisin sauce. And then I add the Shaoxing wine to the wok. Now, as you notice that I add probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons of Shaoxing wine, and I mix everything before I'm going to serve it. At the meantime, I'm going to taste the flavor of the dish and decide whether it is exactly the flavor that I like it. And after I mix everything together, I will serve it. You notice that in this case, I add the wine way at the end. And the reason is that by adding it to the end, I will be able to taste the flavor of the alcohol, which will add to the flavor complexity of this dish. A wine is great to enhance the savoriness of a dish. But if you add the wine too early, then this flavor will not be noticeable. By adding it to the dish later during the process, you will have a much better chance in appreciating the flavor of the rice. So again, my advice is that there are two different times you can add the wine, either early during the cooking process or later during the cooking process, and both of them will provide you a different result. If you add early, you probably will not taste the wine, but if you add later, it will become much more distinctive. And by adjusting with different amount of the wine that you add, it will give you different flavor characteristics. So I hope this helped you to develop a better understanding of Shaoxing wine in stir frying. I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routine so that your cooking will be practical, efficient, creative, and fun. If you'd like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.